It is a very, very beautiful Saturday morning.
Yo, the weather is amazing. As in the launch, been a picnic. Like it's gorgeous, guys.
Yeah.
Like if you're not outside today, I don't know what you're doing.
Look
because,
at
wow,
you. Look at you.
It feels like summer.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, it's a very, very beautiful. It's a very beautiful Saturday morning. It's Saturday. I lose track of
Saturday,
days.
Charlie,
But yeah, before we continue with anything, a very good morning to every. Is it still morning? Yeah, it's morning. A very good morning to everybody who's joining us. As you all know, it's me, Asanda Magaga, the modern clever himself. And today I'm not with Obuhle. Where is Obuhle? I'd like to know where Obuhle is. I don't know.
It's a good question.
You know,
Because
I know people are going to ask, but where is Obuhle? And we don't know.
Ibe host yakho man, mawubuza kuba ibe host yakho.
Hey, you're here now. Hi.
Because this is standby.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
We had you last week and you're here today. What's happening?
Would you look at God?
Why are you always here? Why?
Niyandhanda icacile kahle caca uba niyandhanda.
No, we do. And thank you so much again for joining us. And again, ladies and gentlemen, it is Ubuhle check. So Obuhle left and Buhle came back. This is something else. But as you all know, we celebrating Youth Month this month, and you know, amongst the celebrations, there's still something that we're struggling with. So we can't really celebrate everything, unfortunately. It's about corny goods, it's about corny bads, and the bads that we're talking about today is drug abuse amongst the youth.
Are we talking about drug abuse or substance abuse?
In fact, yeah, because come to think about it, it shouldn't
substance abuse just covers a wider variety, and drug abuse just talks about drugs. So if you're talking about drugs, we're gonna talk about your dick, your cocaine, and if you're talking about substance abuse, we're talking alcohol abuse. We're talking about over like the who are addicted to certain medications like grandpa. You know, there's a wider variety with substance. Yeah, bo. So,
wow. I never thought of it that way, actually.
It's
Substance abuse. So, we shouldn't only focus on, now I'm talking as society, we shouldn't only focus on drugs. There are other things that this smooth criminal who's just not seeing that they destroy.
I think the reason why we focus a lot on drugs, it's I think for me in my eyes it's the most prominent and it's the most that gives people a lot of problems.
Okay.
I think alcohol it's here, but I think drug it's ilap and then alcohol, because drug abuse, it's especially in like in our black communities and in Elokshini, where you know parents don't really know what to do. You know, it's a big problem. It's bad.
I mean, I'm trying to think about where to start, because I mean, you mentioned that it's not only drugs now. We're talking alcohol, but I mean, people use alcohol to have fun, though.
I think when we talk about substance abuse, I mean, like I said, there's alcohol abuse, there's drug abuse, there's people who are addicted to certain medication, and to a certain extent, I don't know how this is going to sound on radio, but taking medication if you're sick, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
Going out, having fun, having a glass or two of wine or drinking. I mean, we're the youth, and like at the end of the day, we're gonna do these things. Having a blunt, whatever. I don't smoke weed, FYI, but I don't see anything wrong with that in particular. I think it becomes a problem when now it interferes and it hinders with your everyday life. Like you can't go without it. Like you can't sleep with a certain pill. You addicted. Was there when now function is for you to sleep you must have a bottle of wine. For you to do certain things for you get dependent on tick. So I think that's when it becomes
so it goes from substance use or substance usage to now it's being abused.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because now I've seen people say they're stoners, and I mean it's people. It's culture now.
It is.
I think a stoner is culture.
I think back then it was a sort of taboo.
Yeah.
Now it's like everyone just smokes weed, bro. Like it's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of which I think, like I said again, I'm not one to judge. If it's something that you can manage and it's something that, you know, doesn't really hinder you or doesn't really stop you from progressing in life. And some people say it actually helps them. Funny or not, it cures them with a lot of anxiety, sleeplessness. So I mean, if it benefits you, then
but I mean,
you know.
At least it must be is it prescribed?
Prescribed.
Yeah, because I'm thinking subscribe now. We're on YouTube, so subscribe. But yeah, prescriptions, no problem.
Yeah.
But now we're facing an issue where people have access to prescription drugs without prescription.
That's true.
Because I'm thinking now that, especially hip hop culture, hip hop culture has made doing drugs fashionable.
Yeah.
We're talking about weed, we're talking about lean,
Coke even.
coke as well. You understand? It has been made into a culture. And it has been made cool that, okay, if you don't use these substances, then there's a problem.
I think it also depends on the type of people you hang around with, because I was so shocked the other day. I went out with my friends. We were having a good time. Then we were at some house and everyone was just, guys, everyone just, I'm like, oh my God.
No way.
I'm like, oh, guys. And for them, it was so like,
it's normal.
It's normal. It's nothing hectic. So for me, someone who's never actually experienced this firsthand, because nothing took guys,
say no
Coke,
to drugs.
And movies, educational things, they're like, hey, don't do this. Now when I see it, it's like,
it's part of life.
You know what I mean?
Man.
But for some people, and it's the way they grew up, it's like they don't see anything wrong with that. You know what I mean?
So basically, those are people who are doing it as they just doing it for fun. It's not necessarily, but they depend on it in order to function.
I think, I don't know. I mean, you can do it for fun, but when you're addicted to it, then I think there's a problem. You're running away from certain things, because you see those drug addicts who can't even this is how they walk. They I've listened to one of the girls' upbringing, and she was talking about how she's a prostitute, right?
Okay.
So she says she uses tick and coke to numb herself, because she was molested when from the age 3. She was abused by her father. Her mama kewamshi. She's been growing up from the streets. So all that emotional pain and physical pain, this is how she copes. Like, she can't go a day without it. Do you know what I mean? So for some, it's like numbing certain wounds and certain emotional scars that you'd rather not,
Okay, so now that makes me realize that not everybody's doing it for fun.
Yeah.
For somebody else, it is medication. It's just that, unfortunately, it's the wrong kind of medication, or they're abusing the medication.
Yeah.
Man, it's tough, because we usually judge people who are on drugs.
We definitely do. Like, dude, life will throw a curve on you. And, sometimes I don't judge. I'm like, when I hear people's stories, I'm like, dude, I'd be doing the same thing. Life is tough, dude. And unfortunately, let me not say it's not as accessible. People don't know about certain help centers. I think there's a lot of awareness that we still need to do, because they don't know about certain health centers, even mental centers that can maybe facilitate them, so they end up, and umuntu uzawuthi hayi kaloku andizothetha ngee-feelings zam kumntu engamaziyo ayosikoyothenga itiketi yondirand, you know what I mean? So it's easier for them to just numb the pain than dealing with whatever they're going through.
That actually reminds me of an encounter I had this week. So there's this project that I'm doing where I want to employ homeless people. Like, I want to take them, give them a job, because nobody wants to give them a job. You understand? And now it gets to a point where they're homeless because they do not have a job. You understand? So I'm trying to employ homeless youth. So after talking to a lot of them, I realized that their number one problem is drugs, drug use. And you get abati, Grootman, I want to stop, but I don't know how. The Oben Tetanaya, I think it was last week, he said to me, Grootman, if there's a way that I can stop, please let me know. And I was like, I'll tell him, there are ways to stop, but it starts with you. You understand? And he was like, he's been looking for a job. And I'm like, I can give you a job, but you have to change a few things. So you realize that now, sometimes we start using these substances because we're trying to cope with something. But even though we're using them, we're still not coping.
Exactly.
And now they hinder us from progressing in life. Because honestly, a lot of those guys would have given them a job on the spot. It's just that you're going to deal with money. There'll be temptation involved. So where they were not doing drugs because they want to destroy themselves. They started doing drugs because they want to heal. Unfortunately, it just destroys them.
Just makes things
bit
worse.
by bit.
It's like alcohol. Like you get drunk for a few hours, you get high, and then after that high stops, it's back to square one.
When you start talking about alcohol, we'll lose our people here because you can't touch alcohol with our youth. Our youth will, you can't touch. Guys, don't listen to this lady.
Like I said, there's a difference with drinking and having fun. That's cool. But when you drink to a point where you can't function without alcohol, the first thing you do is drink alcohol and you drown yourself in alcohol. You can't function, you can't do your daily things. You're lacking. If you're a father or a parent, you can't be the best parent possible. Then it becomes a problem.
It is. It
becomes a problem.
Wow. But I mean, when you look at Instagram, guys, I want to Instagram. Yes. I should delete my Instagram. There's too much pressure there. Unnecessary pressure on Instagram.
Instagram, LinkedIn.
But it's different kind of pressures though. LinkedIn, it's Asanda, Magaga is CEO of this, like, wow, sharp. You understand?
I just bought my first apartment.
That's LinkedIn. It's positive pressure. Then we go to Instagram. Instagram, you see Instagram models. Wakes up in the morning with a mimosa and a blunt. And you're just like, hey, man, these people are living the life. They make it look like it's a glamorous thing to wake up and drink. Yeah,
it looks fashionable.
So maybe the content that we're consuming now also plays a part. The substance abuse
that we put out.
Yes, other people put it out and we consume it.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, you understand. So just the content in general that is being put out, it also contributes.
I think then it's like it goes back to the importance of knowing yourself as an individual and knowing where you stand. Because if, for example, now I've been an alcoholic for the past 5 years, then 1 month, 2 months I'm clean, then I go on Instagram and I see Mihlali N having mimosa for breakfast, whereas Mihlali Yena Z20 phayana uyisela once a month. Mnandi bona okay, it's a in things zawulangazelela uyenza lonto leyo. So it's important to know yourself and not let the pressures of society get to you, because most of the times what we see is not what is.
Yeah.
People put a facade on social media. Asaza on social media andinamali disela mhlambi oros, of which I can't wrong with oros, but we want to put social out that media. Fancy lifestyle on Instagram, whereas situations are not as fun. Man. So it's important to about uzazi where you stand. Don't let the pressures of society get to you, because
Nyani, we do speak about peer pressure. I remember back in high school, guys, peer pressure will make you abuse things. And I'm just like, hey, listen, I grew up around guys who used to smoke all the time. They drank all the time. Me, I never did those things. Like, we would still hang out. And I love the fact that my friends were not the kind of friends as is our team. Asanda, here. No. They won't offer. They would never offer. You understand? So sometimes it can be a choice thing, but I decide that, okay, when they smoke, I'm going to smoke, and then I'm going to blame peer pressure after that. And the peer pressure didn't do anything. They were doing their thing. I just decided that, okay, well, that looks like it's good. Let me go.
You see, I think now because you see that as cool, you put yourself in situations where you now vulnerable to that thing, because you're born about out okay, child looks cool, let me try it out. So I think also we have to be vigilant in situations where we put ourselves vulnerable to succumb to those pressures. And as much as your friend won't say, let's do this, but as husband, a situation, it's like when you go out and you say to yourself you're not going to drink. When you get there, you see your friends drinking, it's like, oh, you get there and you're like, I'm not going to spend money. When you get there, temptation is there.
I'm not going to spend money.
You're not going to spend, I'm going to spend 200. You get there, your friends are ordering champagne, mimosas, and now they're not going to say, Chomi, order this, but because you're there and that's the sort of level that's their lifestyle, that's their level, now fita in. So I think, Nati, we need to be cognizant of our areas of vulnerability and try not to put ourselves in situations where we could be tempted if we struggle in those certain areas, you know.
And I like the fact that you mentioned substance abuse, because when I opened I said drug abuse, because now I'm thinking there are people who abuse antibiotics. There are people like that, which was started for a week and then finish. For them, no.
Even I don't know what you call them. There's pill, Ritalin. It helps you concentrate. It helps you focus, etc. I know a guy. Well, like for that, you obviously need a prescription, etc. from a doctor. I know a guy who sells them for like, I don't know, 90 rand. He gets a prescription from and as much as it helps their friends concentrate, but it was not prescribed for them, you know. So there's things like that as well.
There's also I don't know if I should be mentioning names. I don't want to get sued. There's that powder, your headache.
Yes, that one.
Powder, that one. People are addicted to that.
There's so many people who are addicted to that.
And we look at it as it's medication.
We don't know the underlying issues that it causes. It's pretty crazy, especially because a powder works faster than pills. That's why even when I'm in pain, I usually crush them so they work faster. So a powder, it's more addictive because it works like this. So imagine now you're on a pack grandpa as 99. Within 2 weeks they're finished. And those pills are written headache and pain. There's no way you have headache and pain for 2 weeks straight.
Exactly.
You know, so it's an issue.
Man, it's really crazy because now you view things as in it's harmless, man. It's not gonna do anything, and even the person using it as well. Because now I'm thinking that I might be addicted to some substances myself that I think are harmless. Honestly, I'll tell you me right now, Shem. And if this is bad, please somebody help me. I'm addicted to energy drinks.
Really?
I'm addicted to energy. See that there's that orange one. The orange one and the other one that is South African with the fire. Those two.
With the fire? You play?
No. Oh yeah, play. You're making me mention names here. I don't want to promote people's things. Yeah, they must pay me first. But he play and the more fire.
You're addicted to them.
Me and those two.
I don't. For me, it's. Caffeine. So I think people who are addicted to coffee would also be addicted to caffeine because it's like a caffeine thing.
Listen,
and
if you're trying to
adrenaline.
attack me on radio, just say you're trying to attack me. Now I feel like this show was centered around me, but we must tell this one to stop coffee because I love coffee.
It's a caffeine thing. Energy drinks have caffeine. Yeah. Coffee has caffeine, and I think it's the adrenaline it gives you. I don't know if I'm wrong because I'm not a coffee person. My mom, yes, she loves coffee, but I'm not a coffee person. So my that.
I mean, it tastes good. It tastes good.
But it gives you energy, right?
It does give you that energy. It really does. Wow. So you see, substance abuse again. But now I see it as coffee. Yeah, you go from us. And now I am addicted to coffee. Actually,
are you really? Like how many cups did you say you have coffee a day?
It's never less than 5.
My brother?
Never less than 5.
A day?
A day.
That's how many spoons of coffee do you put in?
No, it's 1 full teaspoon. Just one. But it's one.
Coffee, how long does it last?
Hey, my man, this show is not about me. Why am I being attacked for coffee?
I'm just asking.
But it is something serious, though, really. So I'm addicted to caffeine, not coffee, not energy drinks. It's caffeine.
I think it's the caffeine.
What does caffeine do? Because now I'm thinking, maybe we're focusing on the fact that people are using substances and they're addicted to substances. Gandhi, it's not that they're addicted to the substance itself, but they're addicted to the result of the substance.
I mean, a lot of people who drink energy drinks and coffee say that it wakes them up, gives them energy, it gets them going. So I think it's that energy that gets people, like whenever I wake up, I work until 12. and then I'm feeling tired, I'm gonna have coffee instead of taking a walk or drinking water. My first thing is coffee. I'm sleepy, coffee. I wanna go to the gym, coffee. You know,
so it's the result.
It's the result because it gives you instant.
Yeah.
It wakes you up instantly.
It's the same thing now with alcohol and medication and drugs.
Yeah.
Then that means we need to find alternative ways to get that.
We definitely do.
You mentioned taking a walk. Now I'm going to start taking walks every morning. No more coffee. But I have a very nice coffee mug, so I can't put that to waste. So I have to. Come on now.
I mean, if it's something that's not hindering your health.
Oh.
Like I think just maybe do some research as to what amount of caffeine you can take, you know, the right sort of measurements, etc. But I really think 5 cups a day is a bit excessive. Much. I'm not a coffee person. Maybe people have 15 a day. I'm not sure.
Hey man, coffee's life. But okay, with coffee it's easy. Now going back to, you know, strong drugs now, strong medication where they shake, their body just, they can't function without it. And we've realized that the thing is they are addicted to the result and not the substance itself. Then I think we need to find ways to substitute the drugs then. Because I know there's rehab.
Yeah.
Rehab helps. But the problem is you go to rehab, but the initial problem is still there. You go to rehab for the drug problem. Drugs are free out of your system. Cool. But then you're going back to the same problem. For an example, let's say I stay at home with brother and sister. We're all unemployed. We go to bed hungry every day. So for me, I use drugs to just, you know,
deal with
that.
Yeah.
So if you send me to rehab, I'll go to rehab. Drugs will be out of my system. Then I'm going back to the same household. You understand?
I think my therapist once told me this the other day. With things like depression and anxiety, sometimes you just need to learn ways to. Sometimes there's no cure. Sometimes there's no solution. You just need to learn ways to manage it. Learn ways. For example, I'm a person who has anxiety. So if I'm feeling anxious, I know the best thing to do for me is to go for a run, to go for a walk. That's not anything that's harming my body. That's actually something that's giving me, it's letting out good hormones.
Yeah.
I'm not injecting any drugs into my body. So I think in situations like that, sometimes there's no solution. Sometimes people need to find ways to deal or to manage their situations until a long-term solution comes, but find ways to manage the situations that's not going to make it worse.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you're already unemployed, that 10 rand could be used
for something
else.
Makes sense.
You know, there's always ways to sort of work around your situations or to sort of manage. If you're under stress, take a walk, drink water, talk to your friends,
meditate. You know,
meditate.
Yeah.
And I know someone who might be listening would say that these things are very like, they're so like common ways of and I thought of this at that one time when my therapist suggested breathing exercises. I'm like, I have anxiety about breathing, and when you actually try it out, they make a difference. Like on anxiety, breathe in and out. When una stress, take a walk. It'll actually make a difference in your life.
I take a drive. I think that also helps. Hey.
I used to take drives. Then I realized I can't afford to be driving. To just drive for fun. So I'll use my own cars that God gave me to because
yeah, but those drives are the ones, guys. You just put on your music and you drive carefully. Drive a crane. Like me, I'm a safe driver. I'm a very good driver.
I've been in your car before, and I must say, there are times I'm just like, Lord Jesus, not today.
Ma'am, listen.
My mother and father still love me. Please, Lord.
You're still alive, right?
I'm alive, but at what cost?
Hey, leave me alone. Salah, you get there. But yeah, man, you're right. I think I'm not sure if in rehabs they offer therapy. I'm not sure.
I'm also not too sure about that.
But yeah, if somebody's listening to this and you know you work at a rehab or you own one, please let us know. Do you guys do rehabs also offer therapy? Because yes, rehab is one solution, but it's not the solution to the root problem. Because at the end of the day, people abuse substances because of a certain problem. Nobody would say, I want to use drugs and I want to abuse drugs or any substance because I want to. It's never that way. You know, there's always a problem. I know we're always bashing people who abuse substances, but I'm a para and don't. But look, man, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's daughter. At the end of the day, they there for a reason. Exactly. You understand? Something sent them there. Nobody wants that life for themselves.
Exactly.
There's a guy, he's homeless, he does drugs, and I think just a little bit. I've had conversations with him. I'm like, I'll tell him, when you use this thing, how do you feel? He's like, no, for me, it gives me this illusion that I'm happy, even though I know I'm not happy. I want to be happy, but I'm in too deep. You understand? And that made me realize that Tina will look at someone emtaka there and you're like, lipara, kaskatelelanga is doing drugs. Kanti, for them, that's their only hope.
Yeah, that's their coping mechanism.
You understand? So, yeah, man, before we judge them, let us not be too quick to judge. I think even in the Bible, I know the Bible, I go to church. In the Bible, they said the first man without a sin must cast the first stone. See, I know the Bible. I'm not sure which part of it, but it's inside there. But yeah, you understand that we do that, Tina. We're just like, we're casting stones all the time. And we realize that, no, man, calm down. Try and understand what the problem is with the person. Some people, they just need somebody to talk to.
I get that, hey, but I also think I also don't blame people who are heartful of people doing drugs because they are a problem.
Yeah.
They are a problem. I know of my friend, her brother is deep into drugs. And that boy grew up soft. I think the only problem with him is that he was spoiled. He's into drugs, like heavily into drugs. No like a thing where the TV stands and it's locked because he comes in and he steals. His mom was crying that he's like, the parents were forced to actually send him to jail because what more can they do? So I think therapy is if is who's using drugs, maybe the family also should get some sort of help because it also affects them as well, you know, negatively. Imagine as a parent going to extent of having to send your child to jail because I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But there's no change. So to such an extent, I'm not judging the people who are towards drug people because they are a problem. But I do agree with you in that we need to be more sympathetic towards those people. And if you're a family who has a person who's dealing with drugs, maybe you can tell us ways in which you have dealt situations like that. And if you're a social worker or you're working in a mental facility or working in a drug rehabilitation, please let us know of recommend places so that people can you know,
because I think I know of, is it Sanka? I think I know of Sanka. In fact, this is what I'm going to do. This week, I'm dedicating my Monday to just listing on my social pages all the places you can go to if you need assistance with, you know, stopping substance abuse. And again, it's alcohol, it's medication, it's drugs, it's shopping on Shein as well, and window shopping. As you know what, let me sit properly.
Attacking me now?
Because as the gents, we are tired.
Wow.
Shopping on Shein is substance abuse.
It doesn't harm anyone.
It harms our wallets and bank accounts.
That's true.
It harms our bank accounts. But yeah, man. You know, I really wish we could have this conversation a bit longer, but unfortunately we can't because of time. But thank you so much for coming in, and thank you to everybody who was listening. I really hope the conversation made a difference, because I mean, we come here every Saturday, have these conversations with the hope that they make a difference. For me, even if kungatwa from today's conversation, somebody's son or daughter, or one, just one is fine, would have changed because of this conversation. I'd be a very happy gent, man. I'd be a very happy gent. So I really hope that, we made a difference. I really hope we made a difference, man. And
I think, like I said last week, it all starts with, because these kind of, like last week we were talking about unemployment, this week we're talking about drug abuse. These are not things that you would want to openly talk about. It's not common to talk about them like this, So I think starting these kind of conversations really makes a difference. In as much as we're not therapists, we're not, you're not scientists, but having these conversations and networking and, and finding what other people do that helps. I think it makes a difference.
It makes a big difference. Yeah, no, that's amazing, man. Otherwise, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
What does your week look like, actually?
Next week, I am, most of my time these days is occupied by drama, guys. We're performing for National Arts Festival, so we're rehearsing. Other than that, I am doing the usual job applications. I want to actually do my TEFL next week. I want to get that over and done with. So it's just job applications, doing TEFL and rehearsing. That's literally it.
Amazing.
And you?
Guys, I want about peace. This is nice.
Yeah.
For me, okay, first of all, I'm excited about Monday, the project I told you about there now of employing the homeless guys. There's one guy that I took in and we're starting on Monday, so I'm excited about that. Thank you. I am scared a little bit because you understand, temptation is there. I don't want to say Autabanduli sell or anything like that, but temptation is there when there's money esandleni sakho. But I'm doing this to make a difference, man. Nobody is giving these guys a chance, and I want to give them a chance. They're human as well. Abanye, they want to fix their lives, but they can't. So I'm excited about it. He was very excited about it when we spoke about it. And I like the fact that he said to me, please give me this weekend so I can be clean and so I can prepare myself. And I really appreciated that. I'm like, oh, okay, this is very nice. So yes, Monday I'm doing that. And for the rest of the week, clients, office, the usual. But thank you very much. And it is Asanda Magaga, the modern clever himself, with Buhle Check. Ma'am, you're becoming a familiar face. I don't know, maybe next week again.
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Maybe your own show. Because the people like you as well. I saw from last week, people like you. Comments were crazy. But you'll see her, but you'll see me all the time. You'll see me, and Obuhle will be back as well. But we'll deal with her. We'll deal with that one. We'll make sure we do accordingly. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and have a beautiful day.
You're listening to The Sound.